Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for coming and taking an interest in our book and in our talk. I'm Amber and this is my husband, Alex. So I wanted to create a book which really explored how colouring can be used for meditation. Because the thing is about mindfulness is that it doesn't just come to us automatically. You can't just go and pay your money and spend some time in a flotation tank or sit in the lotus position or do some colouring and expect mindfulness just to automatically arise. It's something that we have to do for ourselves. So I'd like to read you just a little bit from the book about how colouring relates to mindfulness. This is the section entitled Colouring as a Meditation. It lends itself well to contemplation. It does not require you to make too many decisions. Once you have chosen which colour you wish to use and which space to fill, you can just follow the lines. The soothing nature of the activity is relaxing and can help you to calm down, and eventually, even without any intention on your part, your thoughts become less hurried. If you like, you can aid this process by increasing your mindfulness as you colour. Each time you notice that your thoughts have wandered away from the task, you can note where they are and then gently bring your attention back to the pen or pencil in your hand. Although this instruction is very simple, it can be difficult to follow. At first, it can feel like an effort. You'll be amazed at how active your mind really is. You may even find that several minutes go by before you realise you have lost awareness. Keeping the mind on task is rather like trying to keep a kitten in a basket. It keeps climbing out. Remember to smile at its antics as you gently put it back. If you keep bringing your mind back to the colouring in front of you, your thoughts will eventually settle down, and you will find that you can reach an even deeper level of calm and awareness. Okay, so I'd like to talk a little bit more about how my own meditation practice impacted this book. Just before we came up with the concept for the book, I had recently attended a course in Buddhist psychology, which was part of my meditation class. And much of the methodology of that course was to think about how to represent ideas in different ways. So, for example, through making models, or through storytelling, or through pictures. And this experience was very much present with me as I thought of the concept for colouring for contemplation. And I decided that the pictures should be inspired by wise words from teachers around the world. So the pictures would be meaningful and play with the ideas presented in the teachings. And my hope was that the readers would be externalising their own response to the quotes as they coloured in the pictures. Choosing the quotes was probably the most uplifting piece of research I have ever done. Because when I found each quote, I had to be very mindful myself and to use myself as a barometer for how inspirational the quotes and the teachings really were. And once we had a selection, I showed them to Alex and he got to work drawing his responses.
Now, this was a very meaningful project for me. So I was going through a lot of change and personal development at the time. And working on the book was a vehicle for further development. I wasn't at all confident in my work or in myself when I started out, but as I worked through the book and doing the drawings, and I'd get feedback from Amber and feedback from the publisher, I began to feel more and more sure of what I was doing. There's a very tight time frame for the book, which ordinarily would lead to a lot of stress, which is very bad for creativity. So there was a challenge in there that it was a challenge to me to maintain some balance and calm while I was working on the pictures, so that I could do my best with them. And I really wanted to honour the people who were going to use the book by putting as much of myself as I could into the drawings. Now, one of the ways that I did this was I didn't want to get lost in the drawings as I did them. I work a lot in black and white, so it's a very good project for me, obviously. But I would tend to work in line. I didn't want to get lost in the drawing and lose sight of what the pictures were actually for the people who were going to be using them and colouring them. So I decided to work predominantly white on black, so that I would be actually, the colouring spaces would be positive spaces that I was deliberately putting down, rather than me kind of drawing the negative spaces. The other great thing about working on this book, and occasionally getting a bit stressed out, was that the quotes would very often be extremely helpful. If I could just take a minute I'd start getting a bit wound up, things not going right, and if I could just stop and read the quote, and more often than not it would contain some lesson that would really help me to just calm down and take stock and carry on with the drawing.
So Alex came up with most of the ideas for the pictures, but I had a lot of input into the designs too, and some of the pictures were wholly my own idea, and those ones are probably my favourite ones. So what I wanted to show you was this one here. It's the fish jumping out of the water. The quotation comes from Susan B. Anthony, who was an American civil rights leader. She's speaking about 150 years ago. And she says, "Forget conventionalisms. Forget what the world thinks of you stepping out of your place. Think your best thoughts, speak your best words, work your best works, looking to your own conscience for approval." And this quote really resonated with me at the time, as I've been recently having some personal difficulties, and I've been asking myself some really searching questions about how I could be the person that I wanted to be. And these words, when I found them, they really spoke to me, and they gave me an awful lot of courage to be the best person that I could possibly be. So I've as soon as Alex drew this picture, I coloured it in myself, and I stuck it on our bedroom wall, and it serves as an inspiration for me every morning when I wake up and see it. What I'd like to do now is to give everybody an opportunity to try colouring for yourselves. So I'm going to hand out some pictures, and if you'd like to choose. And once you've chosen a picture and chosen some pens and pencils, I will read out a guided meditation to help us raise awareness while we colour. Would you like to help me out as well?
Yeah.
And raise your awareness. So take a moment to locate yourself in your body. Close your eyes for a moment and become aware of your feet on the floor. Feel how your seat supports you. Notice if there's any tension and try to let it go. Pay attention to how your breath rises and falls. Now open your eyes if you've closed them and look at your image. Notice what happens when you look at the picture. Does it conjure up thoughts, memories, or feelings? Note the state of your mind. Is it calm or ruffled? Notice your pen or pencil in your hand. How does it feel? Are you holding it firmly or loosely? We don't have to be slow to be mindful, but slowing things down can help to remind us to pay attention. There is no rush to complete the picture. As you colour, notice how much pressure you apply to the paper, how many strokes it takes to fill each space. How the colours interact with one another. And how the whole picture is gradually coming to life. Also try to maintain a general awareness of the body and breath as you work. This can help you to feel grounded in the activity. When you notice that your thoughts have wandered, just gently return to your breath and the activity.